Okay, I just want to do a short follow-up on process flow charting. Keep in mind, we looked at it from a very basic perspective. The intent was not to get complex about it. For the most part, we were using two primary blocks, an action block and a decision block. Sure, there's flow lines and start and stop ellipses, but the two primary things I wanted you to use were the action block and the decision block. An action block means specific actions to be taken. A decision block, the diamond, represents either a single part or a dual part decision. So for example, if I was asking the user, if I said to ask the user, does the user want to put butter on their toast, there's the decision mark. Do you want butter? If you do, if yes, now we come down here to an action block where you butter the toast. And from there we continue over and the process follows. If you don't want butter, then we simply continue on down. If you decided that you wanted to, if you had a toaster that only had two settings, just dark and light, perhaps rather than say select temperature, you could say, do you want the dark setting or the light setting? There's only two. If you want the dark setting, then you move into the action block to set it to dark. If you want the light setting, you move it into the action block to set light and move on down. Now, let's take a look at an option. Let's take selecting bread. Suppose I have, and I'm going to use this to try and get three options. I could simply say select bread. I'm implying that there's a variety of selections. Pick the one you want, and that's the one you're going to put in the toaster. It doesn't need to be anything more than that. However, if I had just two types of bread, wheat or white, then I'd ask you to pick. Select your bread. And if you want the white, you get the white bread. If you want the wheat, you get the wheat bread. Then we come down here and move to putting the bread in the toaster. On the other hand, if you feel that there's a multiple group of breads available, and rather than just use it as a generic selection, you actually want to, in the process, identify the different options, then what you would do, and we didn't look at this because I didn't expect you would do it, we would say select bread, and now we would drop down into something like this, where it would show you your selection options. Pick the one you want and then continue. So I just wanted to clarify that. Typically, on the flow charts we're doing, we're just looking at an action block and selection block, or decision block, and usually your decision block is either one of two or one. It's a true question. So I thought I'd just touch on that real quickly because it looked like there was a little bit of confusion in respect to using the two of these. I said a number of people used a decision block, for example, if you give me a diamond that says set temp, then I'm saying, what are the temps? You don't just come out of that with the next action. So if you're going to use a decision block to set temp, then you better show me what the temps are. Otherwise, put it in an action block to say set temp. Don't overwork it.